So many movies, no time to watch them all. But Twig wants to see them, so we gave Drayfrjg a call. Now they're bringing on their friends, and together they will view these. So sit back and relax. It's Twig's Missing Movies.
Hello, and welcome to Twig's Missing Movies, a show dedicated to watching the movies that Twig inexplicably hasn't seen. I'm your host, Drayfrjg, and here is your cinematically clueless crow, Corvus Twig.
Happy February. Well, it's
February.
It's kind of weird because like I just got done telling everybody that it's my birthday stream, but it's not yet my actual birthday. But the stream is after my birthday, so it's like we're like it's both my birthday and not my birthday, and also past my birthday, and I don't know.
What's it like being old?
My knees hurt.
I mean, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I turned 30 this year, and I tell you what, every day since 30, I've woken up with some new pain in my body that I didn't know could be pained.
Yeah, it only gets
it's awful.
It only gets worse from here.
I don't like this. Why is this the human condition? Why do we age? First of all, why do we age? Secondly, why does our body deteriorate after only 30 years? Seems a little fucked up.
I don't know.
You think elephants experience this?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I mean, I've watched some great documentaries about elephants, and they were talking about like making their big journey across Africa because like different times of the year, there's different parts of Africa that are fertile, so they got to do the migration. And they had like the matriarch who had been like in charge of this herd for like decades, and she was leading them and doing all this stuff. But then like on the way back home, it's just like she was slower than she used to be, and she didn't make it, and it was really sad. It was really sad.
The elephants live like 50 years, something like that.
Yeah,
they have a long life. Like for a giant animal, they actually have a very good lifespan.
Yeah, you know, there's elephants are probably my favorite non-bird. They're pretty great.
Like non-bird animal, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, they're so smart. I mean, they're like almost as smart as crows.
If not smarter.
No.
Sir, yeah. I've talked to elephants, all right? And I've met elephants in pantheons, and I gotta tell you, they remember stuff. They're not my favorite to deal with sometimes.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with elephants is that they like crows, like humans, like they have personalities, and some of them are kind, wonderful beings, and as they said on The Simpsons, some of them are just jerks.
Some of them are just jerks.
Yeah,
they're just. It's like what was it? There was a recent study that I think about the personalities with animals. Dogs have personalities.
Oh, absolutely.
Like anyone who's spent time with dogs, right? You raise a dog has a personality. Dogs are intelligent. They're toddler intelligent, mind you.
Yeah.
For the most part. They're not gonna they're gonna remember names. They don't really have object permanence, whatever, but they still have personalities. We had a dog growing up, who was a half beagle, half Jack Russell Terrier mix. And she, oh my god, she had the fucking side eye like no other. Like you could be across the room and you'd fart and you just see the dog's head turn slightly, and then the eye would just slowly go to you and be like, and she just judge you from afar. Or like if she's laying in your lap because she's kind of a small dog, right? And if you're having a nap and you slightly shifted, she'd stare at you, like very judgmentally, like why did you fucking move, you idiot?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes across the board. Animals are smarter than we've given them credit for, and I think part of the reasons that we were so ready to believe that animals were dumb is because it made it easier to mistreat them if we don't accept that they're smart and have inner thoughts. But one of my favorite quotes from a park ranger or an engineer who was working with park rangers, they were trying to design garbage cans for national parks. And ideally, they wanted garbage cans that humans could put garbage into, but that bears would not be able to get into. And they said that it was almost an impossible thing to design because the overlap between the smartest bears and the dumbest humans is significant.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's pretty fucking accurate.
Yeah.
Things are only as workable as the weakest link.
Yeah.
It's like cybersecurity. You can make the world's tightest and most cryptographically complex security process, right? But you get one lazy person, and it's just kind of all over.
Well,
Doesn't matter.
It's like when we talk about hacking, you don't hack systems, you hack people. You know, you get people to give you their password because you're not going to be able to brute force and decrypt a password. But if somebody just gives you their password because you tell them that they won a $1,000 Amazon gift card or something like that, or they write it down on a Post-it note and leave it under the...
God. So there are two schools of thought here. Post-it notes are actually probably safer than people think. It's safer than a password vault a lot of times because password vaults exist online in your browser, right? Or like whatever you're using, like 1Pass or whatever. If that gets breached, all your passwords are right there. It's no different than having a notepad, right? Whereas if you have a little black book with passwords in it and that thing goes everywhere with you or has a really safe spot or sits in a safe or something like that, it's just as safe, if not safer, right? Like, but it's kind of dumb because it kind of averts. Like if you had a password out on a note on your monitor, yeah, absolutely. If you have your note somewhere hidden away, it's generally considered safe-ish. It's kind of dumb. Don't do that though. If I catch any of you doing that, I'm kicking your ass. Just memorize your fucking passwords.
Speaking of dumb, today's movie is about a story about two incredibly dumb people who...
I know. I know, if you will. We're watching Gnomeo and Juliet.
Yep. I couldn't think of a good transition with a conversation.
No. There is no good transition for this movie.
I mean, we could have gone Shakespearean at some point, but I
didn't want to break out a soliloquy today.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like speaking in pentameter. You
guys
know how hard it is to speak in pentameter, in like true Shakespearean pentameter? Like when you're doing a show? Hard as fuck.
Yeah.
It's a lot more memorization than it is actually knowing what you're saying.
The pentameter that I prefer, I guess, would be a tetrameter, is anything that you can say to the tune of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles songs, which is, basically the, 4 two-syllable words.
Mm-hmm. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ugh. Okay, so.
Drayfrjg, crack a bun, and something.
You're trying. That's what
I'm trying. I couldn't think of the last word.
Those who do not try do not fail.
Drayfrjg, crack a bun, or dragon. I don't know. I'm sorry.
We'll workshop
it. Hey, look, Shakespeare didn't just make up his plays on the spot. He workshopped them. I think.
So this movie was released originally on January 23rd, 2011, and at the El Capitan Theater. It was released on February 11th, 2011 in the United States and the United Kingdom. With a runtime of 84 minutes, a budget of $36 million, it brought in about $193.9 million.
Wow.
For its lifespan. Yeah.
This movie was successful?
This movie was bizarrely successful.
Okay.
It has James McAvoy, Emily Blunt, Michael Caine, Maggie Smith, Jason Statham, Patrick Stewart, Ashley Jensen, Stephen Merchant, Matt Lucas, Jim Cummings, Julie Walters, Richard Wilson, Ozzy Osbourne, Dolly Parton, Hulk Hogan. They have the entirety of the British fucking acting troupe that exists. Because, you guys know the joke, right? There's only 6 actors in England at any given time.
I don't know. You didn't say Idris Elba.
No, he's not on there. You're right.
No.
But I was at the time. This was 2011. Idris Elba wasn't really in the...
He was starting to break through around
Yeah,
then.
but he wasn't in the zeitgeist as the big sex,
Yeah. But I mean,
This
hey,
was
Patrick Stewart, Michael Caine,
Michael Caine, Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith. Yeah.
I think of all the people,
Dame
Michael
Maggie
Caine
Smith.
and Maggie Smith and Michael Caine are like the two big.
What about Judi
for me, they're
Dench?
that.
Huh? No, Judi Dench.
This is past her time, dude.
What? She was still playing. She was still M. She was like at the height of being M at this time. God, was Skyfall that long ago? Oh, whatever. There's a lot of big British names in here.
I forgot she was M.
But you listed a whole bunch of great actors and then finished with one gigantic piece of shit.
Basically. This was directed by Kelly Asbury, edited by Catherine Apple, music by James Howard and Chris Bacon.
And Elton John.
And Elton John.
Featuring new music from Elton John. It says so right there on the poster.
He was not listed in the credits.
Well,
that I was reading off of for the music.
Well, probably because they used existing like pop songs of his rather than. Oh, that does say new music, but he probably didn't write
music.
He probably didn't write like the soundtrack, but you know.
Maybe he just.
It's like you wouldn't list Smash Mouth on the like music by for Mystery Men, not Shrek. Fuck you.
You got a bone to pick there, bud?
Yeah, I got a bone to pick. Everyone associates All-Star with Shrek, even though All-Star came out 2 years before Shrek and was featured in the movie Mystery Men, and the music video for All-Star features the movie Mystery Men, not Shrek. Mystery Men is the All-Star movie, not Shrek. Fuck you.
Okay, Grandpa, time to go back to bed and drink your Ensure. But this is a Walt Disney Studios motion picture under the label Touchstone Pictures. Touchstone, as you might know, had such bangers as Nightmare Before Christmas.
Ooh. So it's one of those things where it's like it's kind of Disney owned, but not a Disney animation.
It is not something that I think Disney tries to claim. You know, like Treasure Planet and Atlantis. You know how Disney just kind of pretends that they don't exist.
But those were one of those mainline Disney Animation Studios films.
They were not a mainline Disney animation studio.
Okay, because I know that there's a few.
They were the Odd Child studio. I can't remember the actual studio's name right off the top of my head because I don't.
Yeah, because Disney has a lot of. Yeah, but I mean, like Disney's definitely tried to claim Nightmare Before Christmas because you go on Disney Plus and that it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah, they're like, hey guys, remember that time Tim Burton made this film, and that's definitely ours. Guys.
But then you have stuff like a Goofy movie, which is not a Disney animation studio, but is still made by studio owned by Disney.
Mm-hmm. It's really weird. Production studios and how animation, like any studio in the biz works, is kind of weird and complicated. But that's not what we're here to discuss today. This movie kind of okay. So this is no big shit. It's based on the Shakespearean work Romeo and Juliet.
Well, there goes my prediction. Okay.
I'm sorry, you have to live with that consequence. It's in the name.
I mean, I am familiar with the story of Romeo and Juliet. I almost said Gnomeo and Juliet.
Yeah, well,
but I mean, I'm familiar with it. Obviously, I had to read it in high school.
Yeah.
I've seen a live production of it, I think, once. I saw like a movie that was trying to be like the classic version, and then I, of course, have seen the Leonardo DiCaprio version.
Oh God, I forgot that existed.
Yeah,
man, this episode is just me remembering things existed. Oh man! All right, so this has an approval rating of 55% on Rotten Tomatoes by 126 critics.
I mean,
that's an average rating.
I say that's better than I expected. I don't know.
With an average rating of 5.6 out of 10.
Okay.
I don't know. I can read this quote to you. It doesn't reveal anything, but it's fucking funny. While it has its moments of inspiration, Gnomeo and Juliet is often too self-referential for its own good. That it was like a scathing review for it.
Well, we'll see if I'll be giving it a scathing review here.
If you don't, I'll be surprised.
We're going in with the lowest possible expectations that we've had for any movie on the show so far.
I think even Major Pain we had some good expectations for.
Yeah.
This one, I've seen it. I went to go see it with my
boy.
girlfriend at the time. Whew.
And
So
meanwhile,
it did win accolades, by the
right now,
way.
as this pre-record is playing during the actual live stream, our guest is breaking down in tears before we even begin.
No. Dove probably chose this to troll us.
Well, we were planning on doing this as our Valentine's Day episode, but unfortunately, Dovely was not
For
available.
some reason, someone had plans on Gross.
It's
Guys,
okay.
love
It's
is
okay.
gross. Love is gross and disgusting.
So what do I
but
know about this is...
Wait, no, we're not there yet.
Oh,
I need to tell you about the fucking funniest part. It won accolades.
What?
It won in the Annie Awards. It won directing in a feature production, storyboard in a feature production, voice acting in a feature production. That was just Jim Cummings won that one. Writing in a feature production. It won a Critics' Choice Movie Awards for Best Song, Golden Globe Awards for Best Original Song, and a Satellite Awards for Best Original Song.
Okay, well, I'm looking up and seeing what animated movies this had to go up against. And it looks like this year was Rango, The First Puss in Boots, Adventures of Tintin, Kung Fu Panda 2, which is my favorite Kung Fu Panda.
It's the best one in my opinion.
Rio.
It had a good contending audience. It did not win anything though.
Okay.
It just got nominated. And I think that's fucking funny because it didn't win any other awards, just music. And you just know that the music is because Elton John was tied to it.
Yeah, I mean, we stand Elton.
We stand Elton John in this household.
Yeah.
But, Twig, I do have to ask, why haven't you seen this movie?
Dude, do we really need to ask that?
Yes, I do. I have to ask it. It's
because as soon as I saw the commercials for it, I thought it looked terrible.
Okay, that's fair.
I had no interest in seeing it.
What do you know of the film, Twig?
I know that it's a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, but with gnomes.
All right. Is that all you know? And Elton John's in it.
And there's Elton John music in it. I mean, basically, what do I know? Basically, from what I've definitely seen like trailers and stuff for it, but probably not since 2011 or 2012. So
yeah, that's fair. I think I tried to actively forget the movie that I watched. All right. So, what are your predictions for this movie, Twig?
All right. Now you're gonna have to say, okay. So I don't know if this is too easy because it's based off of the movie poster too much, but so with gnomes, there's kind of two ways they could have gone. They are your typical fantasy forest gnomes,
okay,
or they are literally ceramic garden gnomes.
Oh my god.
And I mean, based off of the poster, my prediction is the characters are like ceramic garden gnomes.
I'm
gonna do like a second part of this.
Okay.
And they have what the fuck? Find a reply. What the hell? And they follow Toy Story rules.
I was about to ask if you were gonna ask if they say that they followed Toy Story.
I think that it's going to be like they're literally garden gnomes, but they have to stand still when there's humans around. And the main thing I'm gathering from that, because based off of the art style, they could be forest gnomes, but it's the fence that makes me think that they're actual garden gnomes.
That's
okay.
Fair. That's fair.
So, I'm going to... Okay, so obviously they're going to be taking artistic liberties with this.
Obviously.
And obviously, we got Juliet keeps the name, but Romeo is Gnomeo. But the question is are they going to maintain the names of the two warring sides? So I'm going to predict, and there's actually going to be like multiple name predictions because they're going to throw it in there. The two sides will be named Montague and Capulet, and there will be a Mercutio. So I'm going to say they're going to keep the names for pretty much everybody but Gnomeo.
Did you mean Mercutio?
How do you spell it?
Mercutio.
It's not Murder Cuccio.
It's M-E-R.
M-E-R.
C-U.
C-U.
T. I-O.
That's how he spelled it.
Yeah, but you said Mercutio.
I said Mercutio.
It's Mercutio.
I said Mercutio.
You said Mar.
No, I didn't.
You did. All right, moving on.
Okay. So obviously in the original Gnomeo and Juliet, I'm going to say the Mercutio gnome gets damaged but does not die. Because in the real story, Mercutio gets fucking stabbed. Dead. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
I am going to predict that... Okay, who the fuck is that frog? Like, there's a sassy-looking frog on that poster.
I don't know. Who could the frog be?
I mean...
There's only so many characters you can choose from.
Well, that's the thing. It's almost too obvious. It's like, okay, the frog is on Juliet's side. Like, with the red gnomes.
Mm-hmm.
The Capulet gnomes. The red Capulet gnomes.
Yeah.
But so she just, like, a new character that's completely made up and is just the sassy best friend? Does that count as a prediction? Or is that too obvious just based off of the poster?
That's too much. I think that...
Yeah, I think that's too obvious based off of the poster. Well, let's see here. I mean, it's just like, how do you make predictions about a story that's based off of a story that you already know? Okay, I'm gonna blank. Just leaving these blank for now. My final one is at the end. Neither Gnomeo or Juliet die in the end. I think that's one of the. It's going to be a major change. They're not going to kill off. Okay, here's another prediction. I'm going to do it at the end because it's actually the very end of the movie.
Blank. I like how you have the blank. It's
I gotta have the blank. I'm gonna go back to those, and if I just skip down, then it doesn't do the bullet point and it fucks up because Word has bad formatting. I'm going to predict the movie will end with a big musical dance number. Because what animated movie from this period fucking didn't?
That's, you know what? That's very accurate. It was a very sing-songy year for movies, if I remember correctly, too.
You know what? I'm even gonna say that unlike the original one, the two families will end their feud, because that's something that didn't happen in the original Romeo and Juliet. So you know what? That's 6 predictions.
That's a good prediction.
I misspelled feud. I spelled fluid.
Fuedo.
So, yeah. There we go, 6 predictions. So
I don't know if you're ready for this.
Do it.
We do this because we love movies.
Should I ingest legal mind-altering substances before I watch this?
You have to do this. You have to raw dog this.
Sober. I mean, I have
raw dog this.
I have made an effort to watch the movie sober, so I can actually,
understand what's
analyze them. But yeah, I guess there's nothing left to do but watch the movie.
Watch the movie.
And
you're saying that like you have lead weights tied to your feet because you don't want
You know what? Hey, you know what? I'm going in with low expectations. So either my expectations will be met or exceeded. I might actually like it. So, well, when we come back, we'll have watched
Gnomeo and Juliet.
And Juliet.
We were doing it in sync. Come on.
Bye.
Hello, everybody. We're back. We watched Gnomeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
Why they didn't name it Gnomeo and Juliet? Beyond me. They missed an opportunity here.
Juliet.
Yes. Well, we got 3 birds. Look, we got 2 corvids and a
Beautiful
lovely
birds.
morning dove. Say hi, Dovely.
Hello.
This is Dovely. People know Dovely. Dovely's been on Sunday Dusk. Dovely's wonderful. We love Dovely.
Dovely hangs around.
Oh, thank
sometimes.
you.
Yes. I mean, we all love all bird tubers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We even love seagulls, even though seagulls are the worst.
Yeah, but I mean, I know some cool seagull VTubers.
Yeah, I mean, we both do, but yeah, I mean, we love them. We don't love seagulls.
Yeah, I mean, corvids and gulls are natural enemies.
It's true.
But doves
Not
are
owls.
the peacekeepers between them.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. You know,
All right, let's.
hey, what are the 3 birds you're going to see grabbing trash in a parking lot? Crows, gulls, pigeons, and
True. That is true. You don't really see a whole lot of other birds.
and pigeons are doves, doves are pigeons. They're the
Same thing.
Granted, pigeons have more of an excuse to steal from humans than corvids or gulls do.
Yeah,
And that we used to breed them and keep them as pets, and then one day we're like, no longer pet. Goodbye to the wild.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good
Good
luck.
luck, kid. And the pigeon with one brain cell going, quack.
So
Pretty much.
this movie was chosen by Dovely, and so I
Yes.
guess the main question is, why did you do this to us?
Yeah, I like I said in the preview, I think
I-
you chose this to troll us. Is that
I
correct?
think I chose this because it evoked a lot of emotion.
Valid. I definitely evoked an emotion. Regret's an emotion, right?
Pisses me off so bad.
So, I mean, to break down the plot of this movie, it very essentially is the plot of Romeo and Juliet, but they make some, shall we say, cowardly changes.
Yeah.
So none of the characters actually die, although, I mean, Tybalt kind of does, but then in the...
But then he's okay.
then he's okay. Mercutio, which for some reason they kept the names of every character except Mercutio, became Benny. Why did they change
Because
Mercutio to Benny?
They changed Romeo to Gnomeo, please.
They changed Romeo to... Okay.
Please. 2 names got changed.
Um,
Two important characters
Mercutio
got their
was
names changed.
too confusing of a name for
Clearly.
American children, I guess.
yeah, I could say
They had to
Benny.
change it to Benny.
Oh, so it could be Benny and his jet. They named it because of Elton John.
Oh, that kind of makes
Oh,
sense.
that makes sense.
Benny.
That makes sense.
Oh my god. Okay.
Why didn't we see that before?
But okay, well, like, it's been a while since I've read or seen anything from the actual Romeo and Juliet. Is Ozzy Osbourne's deer or the frog, are those characters from the original story?
No,
'Cause,
I don't
like,
think so.
The flamingo is the friar, clearly. Kind of.
Yeah. But no, I literally
What was the deer's
think.
name again?
Oh, what was the deer's name?
Fawn. I think he's just named Fawn in the movie.
Yeah, no, that's a made-up character.
Yeah. But, so yeah, some liberties taken. Feels like the parents are maybe slightly bigger characters in this than they were in the other one. I don't remember a scene in the original Romeo and Juliet where Gnomeo talks to William Shakespeare.
Yeah.
That'd been maybe a little too meta for the time.
Oh, you know what? Benny's not named for Benny and the Jets. He's named after Benvolio, who's another character in Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, but
Who's the other friend.
But he's clear. Okay, so they kind of combined.
They combined the 2. That's what it says here on the Wikipedia.
Oh.
Yeah, because like Benny does a lot of things that are very clearly the Mercutio character.
Yeah.
He's very clearly doing the same things in the storyline. But although, yeah, because because like Benny is the one who orders the big giant lawn tractor and kind of triggers the main climax of the movie. And by that point in Romeo and Juliet, Mercutio was dead. But
Yeah.
So you kind of have the storyline of, the gnomes are fighting each other. Juliet is kind of trapped within her house, not able to leave. She wants to go get the nice flower. He sees her doing this. He tries to get the flower too. While they're fighting over the flower, they somehow fall in love. It's kind of quick and a little not really built up, but hey, suddenly. But then again, that's true for the original story. They were kind of like.
That's true. They
love
just
at
see
first
each other
sight
and they're like, "Oh my god."
I'm like, I don't think you could be mad at that because in the movie, in the play, they'll just look at each other like, we're in love.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
love is.
We're
Love
both
is-
physically
I don't
attractive.
even know
We're
that
in
they
love.
talk really before they're in love. They just see each other, I think.
Yeah.
You can't fuck the first thing you see out of imprisonment, right?
Yeah. Then of course they have the whole thing. They set up the whole racing the lawnmowers things with a rivalry between Tybalt and Gnomeo. It goes a little too far. During the race, Benny gets injured, and then the race ends with Tybalt getting smashed against a wall. Then, of course, there's the big fight, and everybody wants to excise Gnomeo. Gnomeo leaves, talks to Shakespeare. Then the big lawnmower is ordered. Chaos ensues. Gnomeo comes in, tries to save Juliet. Everybody thinks they both die when the mower crashes into them. Then it turns out they're not dead. And then the families make up. Well, the families made up before they realized they weren't dead. And then soon after, hey, this feud is over. Then they're like, okay, they're still alive. And then now let's have a dance party to Crocodile Rock.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, that's the movie.
That's the whole movie.
Okay, I have one extremely positive thing to say about this movie. It was
Okay.
only 84 minutes long.
Yes.
That includes
You know
credits.
what? That was very good. I appreciated that.
It's just long enough to be considered a feature film. But you know what? That thing is, the animation was actually pretty good. Like, the animation was good. I liked how the movie looked. I thought the characters were well designed for the most part. Mostly the background characters I thought were well designed. Like, they're going for like a garden gnome aesthetic, and they did kind of nail it. If you like garden gnomes, you'll probably like this movie. I thought the background and the designs of the yards was nice. I mean, I thought the movie looked nice. I also thought the voice acting was pretty good. I liked hearing a lot of voices. I always liked Michael Caine. Maggie Smith was great. I mean, Stephen Merchant, I think, is always really entertaining to listen to. Ozzy clearly phoned it in.
He always phones it in. He's never not phoned it in.
Yeah, he's not a great actor at all. I mean, he's iconic in the metal world, but he's not a good actor.
He's kind of past his prime even there. He's even phoning it in with his own music now.
Yeah.
He's been phoning it in for a while.
I thought Jason Statham as Tybalt was great. So there are actually positive things to say about this movie. It wasn't all bad. It's just that maybe the writing was the worst part of it.
Yeah.
It's the writing.
The writing was awful. It was not good.
The writing takes everything else that may be good in the movie and shoots it in the back of the head.
Yeah.
The whole family. And goes, this is what it's about, actually.
I agree.
So, one thing I was keeping track of before I watched this movie is like, all right, this is a kid's movie, it's an animated film, and it's clearly designed to be a comedy. So I was going to keep track. How many times did this movie make me laugh?
Mm-hmm.
I think by the end of the movie, I had 4 or 5 sensible chuckles and 0 outright laughs. But what this movie did have a lot of is this is a term coined by the Red Letter Media guys. They do like Half in the Bag and the Plinkett reviews, those big Plinkett Star Wars reviews that were like super popular 20 years ago. They were talking on Half in the Bag about the movie Christmas Vacation 2, which is supposedly really, 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 really bad. And they said that there's a term that they coined because of that movie called non-medy. And non-midi is when a movie attempts to make a joke and do something funny, but it's so unfunny that it actually makes you kind of angry. That's non-midi. This movie had a lot of non-midi.
Yes. Yes, it does.
It has so much comedy.
It has so much nominee.
Like they were like this close to. There were so many jokes that they were trying to tell, or they told, where they wanted to tell it, but they didn't take it like to the logical extreme that it needed to be for the joke to land, or like they went too far with it.
Yeah, here's a good example: the putting the fluorescent sock on her. It's just like, okay. Oh god, I hated that frog. That frog was nothing but non-midi.
Yeah. The frog, everything the frog did disgusted me. I just
don't know. Don't you wash your face out of your friend's open mouth water hose tongue thing?
No, I can't say I've ever done that.
Well, you're not living.
You're right.
Clearly you're
maybe once I experience that, maybe I'll like the frog character. But until then, I don't like her. She weirded me out and made me uncomfortable.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
no, I mean it's she's a questionable character in addition to the movie. All around, I think.
Yeah, just there was just so many parts of this movie that were just so dumb.
This scene right here that's on the screen right now, the fight over Cupid's arrow being a instead of being a metaphorical thing that happens, it being a literal thing that happens, right? Because that's what they call it. It's a Cupid's orchid or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it hits her first. She's like, "Oh, I need that," and then she sees this guy, and they're having this whole weird dance thing back and forth, and it's like, I guess this is like in the play when they're dancing with each other, right, behind masks or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I'm like, I don't like that it's been physically put in front of my face. So this is it. This is the scene.
Yeah, it's very like, it's not subtle.
They didn't believe in the phrase "brevity is the soul of wit." Let's see who came up with that term originally. I don't know.
Chat, who wrote that line? Chat, who wrote that line? Call 1-800. I have the answer.
Well, Hasio saying all the screenshots look nice. At least it wasn't the art. Yeah, this movie looks great.
It was pretty.
The movie looks good.
And I feel like the color scheme of the movie was very good too. Like it was all very like bright, like yard, so I feel like in that aspect they did a good job. But
the bigger fight, right, is that it's between the two houses, which is what it is in the thing. And it's not really a fight. The people are just going along with it because that's what they're told.
Yeah.
Right? Or that's what they see. Right?
Yeah.
And as soon as they realize they don't have to fight, they stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. Then maybe someday down the road they can have purple babies. I don't know. But here's the thing: is that like they resolved the battle between the gnomes, but not between the homeowners. The homeowners still seem to hate each other at the end, and are also probably blaming each other for the complete destruction of both of their backyards.
I think that actually does get resolved in the sequel.
They made a sequel to this?
They made a sequel to this, and it was worse.
Well, I mean, we did mention in the pre-show that this...
I love that
this
you
movie
hated the first one. Go ahead.
This movie did make like 10 times its budget, so...
It's I love that Dove hated this movie so much. The second one came out and they went and hate-watched it.
I hate-watched it recently, though. Like, this original one, I watched in the theater when it came out.
Yeah.
And then re-watched it about, like, a year or so ago.
I watched it with my girlfriend at the time for
is
Valentine's Day. And I'm pretty sure that I joked, like, a week later when it was appropriate. I was like, I want my money back. You're paying me back for this fucking date because this is awful.
Is the sequel seriously Sherlock Gnomes?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And it's worse.
Because it doesn't do anything clever with that either.
No, it does. There was just no, like, I don't even know where to start. It was just, there was nothing, like, it was so pointless. It was obviously just a money grab. The plot was somehow worse. The plot was already bad. They made it worse somehow.
Look, guys.
Every time they try and turn.
Go ahead.
I said every time they try and turn Sherlock Holmes into a comedy, it ends up being really, really bad. Like,
yeah.
They had the Holmes and Watson movie with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. I never saw it, but apparently it was like the worst movie both of those two ever made.
It does not shock me.
It was okay at best. But no, Sherlock Holmes books are pretty cut and dry, pretty formulaic, right, guys? On the whole, the idea of him being a mastermind is that you have to give up your the suspense of belief or whatever.
Yeah.
Suspension of belief is necessary for you to enjoy those books. That's why they don't translate well into comedies or other things, because you have to be like, this guy's a super serious crime-fighting detective who's high off his gourd 90% of the time, but he's also cracking wit and is super sociable somehow, or antisocial, depending on who's depicting him.
Well, the best portrayal of Holmes and Watson were played by Lieutenant Commander Data and Geordie LaForge.
That is true.
Yeah.
Most accurate representation. But no, it's this movie had potential. I'll give it that it had potential.
I feel like this movie was written by someone who just did not care. And I also think they had zero comedy writers on the staff. It reads like a business major wrote it.
It also feels like maybe there was one or two people who really cared on the writing staff, but the studio made demands about the story and said... That's
true. That's very possible.
Studios are well known for ruining what could be something good.
That is true. Studios have ruined a lot of movies as of late.
No, you know what? I also wanted to comment on in the pre-recorded segment. You mentioned how it says original music by Elton John. Yeah. It's just remixes of his existing songs.
No. There's one song that's original to this movie.
There is one. Wait, what was it?
There's one original song. It's kind of like a duet, isn't it?
It's just the one. Was that?
Isn't the song?
Oh, that's right. It's just they sing to each other, right?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I forgot that song even existed, so...
But, okay, they also went kind of lazy because we got Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting twice, and we got Crocodile Rock twice. It's so they did two of the songs twice.
It's probably
why?
But, okay, this is a plot where the song I'm Still Standing would have worked. Didn't have that in there.
Yeah, there were so many...
Goodbye Yellow Brick Road might have fit in there somewhere.
Rocket Man could have fit in there.
Rocket Man easily. Maybe after they thought they were dead, we could have had a little candle in the wind.
I think they do. I think they did play Rocket Man at some point.
To be real, Chief, I blacked out most of these memories.
It is listed in the soundtrack.
Philadelphia Freedom probably wouldn't have fit in there.
No, probably not.
Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Original song for a different Disney-owned movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, we like Elton. Elton John's got a great career, great music.
I do. When I was reading up on this movie after I watched it, I read that they got Elton John in on it because Elton John really liked the premise, and I was like, did Elton John really have nothing better going on that he was like, no, Romeo and Juliet? Yeah, I really want to be a part of that. I really want to have that in my legacy.
I really want that dump truck full of money that they're pulling up to my house. I
feel like that's more likely, but I feel like I read that he was excited about it.
I need 2 dump trucks full of money.
Elton's been touring with Billy Joel for a while, Bentai, and from what I've heard, that's a really great show. Because you got 2 big musicians famous for playing the piano and
who are
piano
still
rock.
Excellent performers.
Yeah,
on top of it.
Yeah, I would like to see that show. I like Billy Joel.
I would not like to see Motley Crue live. They're not even none of the original bands even in it anymore.
Yeah, there's some
the guitarist.
Honestly, there's some bands where it's just don't bother going to see the band. Go see a really good cover band of it. There's some amazing Rolling Stones and Beatles cover bands out there that, Doesn't matter that it's not the original people. System of a Clown. Yes, thank you, Bentai. I do want to see System of a Clown.
Okay, I just found an interview that confirms that this was Elton John's passion project and that he personally worked on a lot of it.
I mean, he was a producer. He didn't just do the money. He is listed as a producer. Even
I just like, why is this what he chose to put his passions into? Like,
maybe he just really likes gnomes.
Maybe he loves gnomes.
He's a gay British man. Having gnomes as something he loves makes sense.
Maybe he just really freaking loves gnomes.
I don't know. I mean, at a certain point, right? You have so much money. You have so much time. You know, you can really choose whatever you want your passion project to be. You know, Daniel Radcliffe's out there making the most bizarre movies known to mankind.
That's true.
Some of them are fantastic. Some of them are not.
They're not great. And yeah,
see the movie Horns. Horns is such a good movie.
Right.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I like Swiss Army Man more.
I haven't seen that one. Yeah.
It's bad, but it's so bad it circles around to being funny again.
Yeah. Well, I kind of put Daniel Radcliffe and Robert Pattinson kind of in the same thing, where they were in that one bad series that made them a shitload of money, and now they just get to do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. And they're happier people for it. I mean, Robert Pattinson's been Batman. He was in a really good thriller movie.
My favorite Robert Pattinson movie is The Lighthouse. Him and Willem Dafoe are just amazing in that movie.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson is so great.
Yeah. And nobody hates Twilight more than Robert Pattinson. Apparently the best way to watch the Twilight movies is with a commentary on, and he is just dumping on the movies the whole time, and just apparently they almost didn't release the commentary tracks because he insults the movies too much during the commentary.
Wait, I have a quote from Elton John on an interview on Gnomeo and Juliet.
Oh, please.
In regards to why it took so long for this film to be released, Elton John said, quote, "It's taken 11 years because Disney weren't enthusiastic about gnomes, and we persuaded them to stay with it." So he fought for the gnomes. He really, really wanted the gnomes. He was all in.
No, the concept of telling, the concept of the movie is good. Two battling...
It's a cute idea.
Yeah, I mean... But I just have to say that they did an amazing job of putting together 84 minutes of a movie and not having a single original idea. Because, it is entirely based off of an existing play. But even, the toy... they're ripping off Toy Story with the, they're alive, much. But they freeze when humans are nearby.
Yeah, so humans can't see them.
And... yeah, there's nothing in here that hasn't been done before, but I still like the concept. The concept is just this movie could have worked. This movie with better writing could have worked.
I feel like I would have really enjoyed this movie if it was in a language I didn't understand and I didn't have subtitles.
Just based on the visuals and
yeah, just looking at the visuals, I'd be like, oh, that's sweet, that's cute. But then they're making just such bad jokes every 5 seconds that it's it made me physically cringe constantly watching the movie.
Yeah, the non-midi just...
The non-midi really hit hard.
Having a Dolly Parton gnome, I kind of liked the Dolly Parton
gnome. Okay, I did like that. I did like the Dolly Parton gnome.
Yeah. That was funny. Yeah, when you get there are a few voice cameos in here that were, pretty great.
Yeah, that's true. I do think they had some good cameos.
I mean, I hate Hulk Hogan, but, he was good for the voiceover for the commercial. Yeah, I can't really say much against the voice acting. Of the characters that had more than one or two lines, Ozzy was definitely the worst, but I mean, it was still, hey, it's Ozzy, and he did fine. It wasn't terrible. Okay, I do think the funniest characters in the movie were the little tiny red gnomes that we see here, and the little bunnies. They were fun.
They were the one thing.
I did like the little bunnies. The little bunnies, I did. Like I said, I didn't hate everything about this movie. But the non-midi just made it so painful to watch.
Yeah, the non-midi was what really, and especially the romance between the frog and that guy,
Paris.
Yeah,
which again is a pretty major character from the original.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just like they were just so weird about each other. Like it felt like watching like a seventh grade couple together, where you're just like, you know? Like good for you, but
Yeah. It's just too bad. I mean, I didn't hate Paris in this movie, but that's probably just because I really like Stephen Merchant's voice acting. I just think he's always so delightful anytime I hear him talk. He's got that kind of unique manner of talking and his voice, and it's so great. I mean, obviously, you know, as nerds, most of us would know him as Wheatley. And
oh yeah.
Wait, oh god.
I actually didn't know it was him.
yeah,
Jesus
Paris.
fucking Christ.
Yeah, that's Stephen Merchant.
I
Holy
didn't even
shit.
catch that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was Wheatley.
Bruh. Oh man, I'm learning something. How did they make this movie? How the fuck did they make this movie?
That's the
What
thing.
the fuck?
There's big name actors in this.
It's
Yeah,
a huge name actor list with like their budget.
I
they're
have
like,
to
it
think
made
that
10 times more. I'm like, was it just the names that sold? I don't understand how it like.
I have to think Ellen John personally invited people to be in this movie.
I think Elton John bought those tickets.
Yeah, but
I can't think of anything else.
But if we're talking like 2000s era, we're just gonna put out a crappy animated film and have a bunch of big name people voice the characters. This is kind of a poster child for that.
Yeah.
Where it's just like the advertising in the trailer, half of it is just them listing the names of the famous people. But it's just like, I don't know if that was necessarily a good strategy for children's movies, because the target demographic would probably be like 5 to 10-year-olds for this movie. They don't give a shit about Maggie Smith or Jason Statham or Ozzy. Like, little kids don't care. Like, if you're gonna do an animated movie, just hire professional voice actors. You don't need to have big names unless it's like a name of somebody who is really famous with kids. But I suppose a lot of it is the parents too. The parents will be like, oh, well, I know these people, so I guess I'll take my kid to it because I do like this person. So I guess the celebrity voice is probably more for the parents than the kids themselves. But like,
Yeah, because when this movie came out, I was 12 when I went to see it in theaters, and I didn't know anybody in this movie. I only was like vaguely like Ellen John because I could hear all the music, but like in terms of the actors in this movie, I had no idea who anybody was at all.
But then it's just, I mean, you think of like a lot of the classic Disney movies, like Little Mermaid. Did that have any big name voice actors? I know with Aladdin, you had basically just Robin Williams and kind of Gilbert Gottfried, but for the most part, the voice cast was voice actors. And then it's just like through the 90s, you started to get more and more celebrities voicing characters. Or you would have like half voice acting casts, and then you would have a few celebrities, you had Jason Alexander in Hunchback of Notre Dame, but for the most part, the voice cast wasn't super famous people. So it's like kind of but then like by the mid 2000s, it's like nothing but celebrities.
Yeah. I never liked that like kind of switch over, because I feel like some actors, a lot of their acting strength lies in their face, and then when you put them in a voice actor setting, sometimes they don't come across quite as well.
Voice acting and live action acting are two
very different.
Totally different.
They're very
yeah.
different. They have a lot of there is overlap for
There's
sure.
Crossover.
Yeah, but
100%. It's not a super amount of it, right? Like
yeah.
And then I mean,
you can't do the same. Well, not always. You can't always do the same kind of like facial acting you do in acting, right? And have it translate into your voice, right? But similarly, like you can sort of like you're kind of encouraged to also do the same kind of actual facial movements, right? Because it's a lot harder for you to make an angry voice when your face isn't angry. It's just not how our our bodies are structured, right?
Yeah. Well, if you see video of good voice actors in the studio, they are physically acting what they're saying. They're not just saying it. They're doing the full physicality of it. Which, that's what you got to do. But I think for the most part, the people in this movie did a pretty good job.
No, again, everything else about this movie is great, but the writing is so terrible. It takes all of that and throws it into compost in front of your very eyes. You're like, okay, because if this movie had good writing, it would be a phenomenal movie.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I think if they just stuck to the original fucking plot and had them die at the end, it would have been a good movie. Tragic, but good movie.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is they started off with the opening monologue soliloquy thing, and they call them star-crossed. Well, I guess that was a lie.
Yeah.
Because they weren't star-crossed.
No, there's nothing star-crossed about that. They're yard-crossed.
Star-crossed doesn't mean forbidden, it means doomed.
Yeah.
And I did have to say, though, I did kind of like Patrick Stewart showing up as William Shakespeare. I thought that was kind of great. And who else could it have been? Literally, nobody else would have fit that role better. I mean, when I think of a famous actor that's associated with Shakespeare, Patrick Stewart is number one by a mile. I mean, God, look how much Shakespeare stuff they threw into Next Generation simply because.
I think that's exactly why he has such a good reputation with Shakespeare overall, right? Is because of how much he quoted it in the Next Generation, and he's also a Shakespeareanly trained actor too. He's done lots of Shakespearean plays. Yes. So he's just the number one pick in my opinion for any kind of. We need someone to play Shakespeare. Patrick Stewart, hearing his voice, hearing his name being spoken about while he's taking his shit in the morning. I have duty to do.
I heard my calling.
Yeah, I mean, it just works. And he's just got such a perfect voice for it, too. I mean...
Yeah.
And I just like that he loves to do the serious, dramatic acting, but he's also got a great sense of humor and is always able to make fun of himself and do silly stuff.
Absolutely. He doesn't take himself seriously.
Oh, God, if you ever...
in an annoying way.
Look up his appearance, one of his appearances on Sesame Street. Where he's talking about the letter B. A bee or not a bee? That is the question. And he's holding up a big letter B. So he's doing an education about the letter B for Sesame Street, but he's doing the full Shakespearean thing, and it's great.
So cute.
Yeah, we love Patrick Stewart. And people say it's hey, what celebrities would you like to meet the most? He's definitely up there.
That's a good one.
I heard a great story about somebody who saw him in public, and they just went up to him and just hey, Mr. Stewart, I just wanted to say I'm a big fan of your work. And he gave them a serious look and stared them in the eye and said, "Which work?" Just yeah, it's are you a fan of all of my stuff, or are you just a Trekkie who is... But also, thank you so much for the cheer, Foxy. Prince, thank you, Prince, so good. Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, do we have really much more we can say about this movie? Is there anything we haven't talked about?
So let's go over your predictions, bud.
I think you secretly wrote this movie, honestly.
Honestly.
Every prediction, I was holy shit.
Okay, so the characters are ceramic garden gnomes and they follow Toy Story rules. Yep.
Green.
Absolutely green.
Yep.
So this one, the two sides will be named Montague and Capulet, and there will be a Mercutio. I feel I kind of get a yellow on this one, because I feel the
first part is correct, but Mercutio was there. He was just under a different
he was just
name.
Also he was there, but he was also. But I think it's green because you say there will be a Mercutio.
Yeah, you didn't say there will be
of
him. There was a Mercutio.
I'm gonna give myself a yellow on this one simply because there was the Mercutio character, but he was renamed Benny, and there was a Montague and Capulet houses, but they were still just red gnomes. So I think I deserve a yellow on this one, and I'm just doing that because I don't want to give myself an absolute perfect score. Because the Mercutio gnome absolutely does get damaged, but does not die. He gets the top of his
head.
He gets which is part of their body.
Has been shown to
but he's fine.
Yeah. Two families, they do end their feud.
They do. They
do not die in the end.
No, they do not.
And
there
of
was
course,
a big musical to dance.
There was, in fact, a big musical dance number.
There was, in fact, because every animated movie between the years 2005 and 2020 had to have a big musical number.
It's true.
A musical number to match High School Musical. How are we ever going to be popular?
I feel like Shrek might have been the first one that really started that trend. You know, with the I'm a Believer.
Like, Shrek did it right.
Yeah.
Shrek did it good. You know.
Shrek did it so good that everyone else was like, we have to replicate that
but it's
forever.
It's in so many movies. Like, and it kind of like, you know, with a movie like Trolls, where the whole movie is based off of music anyway.
Yeah.
It, you know, it fits with that. Will the review end with a copyright strike? No, we're not actually going to. We're not doing a.
We're not talking about that today.
So yeah, 5.5 out of 6. That's probably going to be the best score I'll ever do for predictions. But just because I did well doesn't. I mean, that just means that the movie's predictable. That's all that means.
Yeah,
it does not lend credence to the. It doesn't lend credence to the predictor nor to the movie itself.
Well, of course it doesn't have Credence. It has Elton John. Credence is a totally different musical act.
Whoa. All right, I think I really think everyone else understands where you sit on this, Twig. But are you glad to have watched the movie, and how would you rate it?
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious this is a bottom half movie, but where it lies on there is the questionable thing. Okay, well, I'm even going to straight up say it's not a fine movie, but not for me. It doesn't belong there. Yes, this is clearly an amazing movie, better than Claus goes at the top. I'm kidding.
All right, ending it all right now.
Okay, here's the thing. I liked it better than Repo the Genetic Opera and Major Payne, but I liked Jade Warrior and They Live more. So the question is, does it go right here on the right side? I did not like it, or was this movie painful? And it's kind of a tough decision for me because, like we've talked about, there are a lot of things about this movie that I did like and appreciate it. So, but the non-midi did make it. I mean, it was painful from the non-midi, but do the good aspects of this movie make up for the dumb changing of the song?
It was like a pile of shit that they put a ton of glitter on, and it's like there's a lot of glitter on it, but it's still a pile of shit.
There's an opposite movie to this where the writing is good, but everything else is shit. It's called Hoodwinked.
Oh my god, so true. That's so true.
That is
so true.
All right, Dovely, I guess you got to come back and we have to cover Hoodwinked at some point.
I loved Hoodwinked.
I watched it 24 times in one day.
All right, Dovely.
I watched this so many times as a kid.
Dovely, you're coming back on the show at some point. And we're doing Hoodwinked.
Awesome. I would love to.
But I do think this movie does have to go in the painful thing. The writing is just
it wasn't good.
There was just too many cringy aspects that just made me. But
everything good is overridden by how terrible it is.
Yeah. Like it feels like it could have been good, but the writing is so bad that
it was never going to be an amazing movie. It was never going to be a 10 out of 10 movie, right? Because it's just Romeo and Juliet written with garden gnomes, right? But it could have been a good movie. Good movie, you know.
It could have been decent.
Well, I mean, like, look at Megamind. Megamind was a movie that was very much just a parody of superhero stuff, but it did things so well that it elevated it, you know, because it had good writing.
I feel like part of the problem with Gnomeo and Juliet is the things that they inserted specifically for this movie to differentiate it, like the frog and everything, wasn't good. Like the original things they put in were bad additions.
They don't feel like good and natural additions to the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like if you were gonna like create a character who's like, no, you shouldn't, off yourself because love is forbidden. They should have felt like a natural character to the movie, right?
Yeah, I feel like it was especially. Yeah, I feel like it was especially jarring because the characters that they input were clearly so modernized when they're trying to do this like theme that's kind of an older text, so
older than time.
So she just felt so out of place, like the frog.
Hey, cannon fodder.
Yeah, hey, cannon fodder. We love cannon fodder.
Yeah, this is a movie. It exists.
This is a movie.
Like
Sherlock Gnomes is worth though.
Can I strangle someone on live twitch.tv?
Sorry, you need to be able to extend your wings to do that, and only I could do that.
That's
true.
True.
Twig's special power.
I can extend my wings too.
Then do it.
Give me a second to put my Steam.
I can't.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
I wish I could extend my wings. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh.
Whoa, there
Okay.
it is.
Okay. There we
Eat
go.
shit. Eat shit. You're not alone. You're not alone. Eat shit.
Yeah.
Fucker.
All right. Well, we are finished with this movie, and I guess before we go, Dovely, is there anything you would like to plug? I mean, obviously, everybody just follow Dovely. Bentai, can you throw out one additional shout out to Dovely in chat, please?
Oh, thank you. No, the only thing I was gonna say is thank you for including me.
Oh, well.
Hi.
We adore you, Dovely, and you're welcome
Aww.
back any time.
I appreciate you both. I'm sorry scheduling was so annoying.
Yeah, we were hoping to do this as our
appreciate it.
Valentine's Day episode, but scheduling made us have to push it.
Yeah,
back
I
a week.
was
So
at a Katsucon, so sorry.
instead, this is now the birthday episode and dinner with Andre. A romantic dinner between two people was our Valentine's Day episode. It's fine.
I'm so sorry that you had to talk about Gnomeo and Juliet on your birthday.
It's okay. Sometimes, look, bad movies are just as fun to talk about as good movies.
That's true.
There's whole podcasts and TV series and YouTube shows about watching bad movies. How did this get made? Best of the worst. Just, a blank check. It's just lots of great,
Very true.
lots of great bad movie stuff out there, which is what's like, so what I say about this show is that this show is a direct ripoff of the format Scott hasn't seen, which is Scott Aukerman, the head of Comedy Bang Bang, does a movie, does a podcast. It's basically exactly this show, but I don't feel like I'm ripping off his idea because he's certainly not the first one to do a show like this. It's white guys talking about movies has been a thing for as long as podcasts have been a thing. It's just the way it's gonna be.
Absolutely.
And y'all know Drayfrjg stuff.
You all know me. You know what I do.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna call this episode done, and we're not raiding in like we normally do because it's part of the big birthday spectacular. So we'll be continuing
taking a short
on,
break to get ready for Pummel Party.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.